Dear students, in this video lecture, I, Professor Sudip Ranjan Hatua, Department of Library and Information Science, Rabindra Bharati University, am going to talk on knowledge management with special emphasis to framework and models. Let us see what will be discussed in this lecture. We will be discussed on knowledge management in different perspectives, its activities, process, framework, model, system, tools, application in library and information science, and initiatives in Indian top IT companies. In my previous lecture on knowledge management, I have discussed in details about the basics of knowledge management. Let us have a quick recall of that lecture. You know, knowledge is an intangible intellectual asset which multivariate and multidirectional. This intellectual asset is the driving force to move a country from industrial economy to knowledge economy. There are several types of knowledge. However, we mostly concentrate on explicit and implicit or tacit knowledge. We also know that only 10% of the whole knowledge can be able to transformed into concrete shape in the form of written documents, artifacts or audiovisual materials, which is known as explicit, and 90% of the knowledge kept in our brain, which refers to understanding, skill or expertise that individual acquire through experience and practice without consensus awareness or formal education, which we will call implicit knowledge or tacit knowledge. This type of knowledge is difficult to articulate, codify or share because it is deeply embedded in personal experiences, habit and intuition. Knowledge management mainly focuses on this implicit knowledge or tacit knowledge, which is mainly intuitive, experimental and harder to formalize. However, it is also involved managing explicit knowledge too, which can be codified, easily articulated and stored. Therefore, very precisely, it can be said that knowledge management is trying to capture, store and share systematically and efficiently the tacit knowledge among the business organization. Now, what is knowledge management? Based on definition given by several experts like Nonakat and Takuchi in 1995, Peter Drucker in 1999, Hejrik 2018, knowledge management can be defined as the process to capture, structure, manage and disseminate of knowledge throughout the organization. It is a process to create new knowledge which must be accepted and supported by organizational member to create value and leverages. Now, knowledge management focuses on intellectual capital, which is often made visible by the difference between the book value and the market value of the organization, which is often called goodwill. Some examples of intellectual capital are competency, which means that skill necessary to achieve a certain level of performance. It is focuses on systematic coordination of an organization's people, technology, process and organizational structure to minimize loss of corporate memory due to attrition and retirement. Knowledge management of organization also focuses the potential loss of intellectual capital. Now, let us define knowledge management from different perspective. Knowledge management in different perspective in the sense of cognitive perspective and business perspective, management perspective. Let's see how knowledge management has been described. Knowledge management is an extension of human cognition and learning process. It emphasizes to manage information efficiently to reduce cognitive overload, to learn meaningfully pattern of better recall and application. This is not only kept in the individual mind, but also distributed across people, tool and systems. Therefore, knowledge management is cognitive and knowledge science bridges human cognition, artificial intelligence and organizational learning to improve decision making and innovation. Knowledge management in business perspective refers to systematic process of capturing, organizing, sharing and utilizing knowledge assets within an organization by integrating people, process and technology. It involves managing both explicit and tacit knowledge to optimize business process and drive organizational success. From a process of technology perspective, knowledge management is defined as systematic use of process, tools and technology within an organization. It focuses on leveraging digital platform, AI-driven system, databases and collaboration tools to ensure seamless knowledge flow and accessibility. Implementation of ontology, metadata, taxonomy and knowledge graph may be used for structured access. Search engine and recommendation system may use for quick knowledge retrieval. Lastly, in terms of management perspective, knowledge management defines as determining, organizing, directing, facilitating and monitoring knowledge related practices and activities required to achieve the desired business strategies and objectives. So, in knowledge management, learning is very important item. One of the salient features of knowledge management is learning from the existing system and makes improvement. Organizational learning refers to process through which organization develops, adapt and evolve by acquiring knowledge and improving their practices. It can be categorized into three types. First one is adaptive learning, which is also known as single loop learning. Here, incremental improvement and efficiency within existing framework is given more emphasis. Second one is generative learning, also known as double loop learning. In this learning, lot of questions were asked, which encourages innovation and creativity by challenging the status quo. The third one is transformative learning, also known as triple loop learning. Here, emphasis given to the deepest level of learning that involves organizational identity, culture and values. Each level of learning represents how organizations understand, interpret and respond to changes in their environment. Now, let us see what is knowledge management process. Knowledge management process involves 7 basic activities. First, identify the tacit and explicit knowledge in or out of the organization and identify the need and find the gap. Second is creating or acquire the knowledge through research and development or via partnership, training, etc. Then the third activity is capture and codify the tacit knowledge by using standard operating procedure. The fourth activity is the organization and store the knowledge using database, metadata and using retrieval engine. Fifth activity is to share and disseminate the knowledge through meeting, workshop, training session or digital platform to the right people at the right time. The next one is utilize the knowledge to improve decision making, problem solving and innovation. And finally, the last activity is evolution and refinement regularly to update or discard out outdated or irrelevant knowledge. Now, knowledge management framework. Now, let us see about knowledge management framework. Knowledge management framework provides a structured approach of the knowledge management process discussed in the previous slides. It integrates people, process, technology and strategy to enhance decision making, innovation and business efficiency. Framework are of two types. One is descriptive and other is prescriptive. The descriptive frameworks explain the characteristics of the knowledge management phenomena, whereas prescriptive framework describes the methodologies to be followed. And the knowledge management model describes the theoretical foundation of how knowledge flow and evolves. Several knowledge management models are available and the popular among them are capability maturity model. In this model, knowledge management performs under 5 levels. Nonaka and Takuchi's SECI model, which is known as socialization, externalization, combination and internalization, which focuses on tacit to explicit knowledge conversion. Weak knowledge management model describes knowledge building, structure, pooling and applying. Davenport and Prusak knowledge management model defines knowledge management as a business asset for value creation. There are also very important knowledge management model given by Choose, which is known as Choose sense making knowledge management model. Now, discuss one by one of different knowledge management model. Capability maturity model is a structured framework that assesses an organization knowledge management maturity across different levels. It helps organization systematically improve their knowledge management practice to enhance decision making, innovation and efficiency. This model typically consists of 5 levels: creation, strategy, followed by technical infrastructure, grouping, delivery and performance. Now, In capability maturity model, creation of strategy is a structured approach to designing, implementing and optimizing a system that capture, store, share and applies knowledge effectively within an organization. It starts with defining objectives and organizational need, then identify the key knowledge assets that may be explicit and tacit. Identify existing knowledge assets and sources, assess the gap, redundancy and inefficiency in knowledge flow. Finally, map the performance and capability of the individual with their innate skill, knowledge and motivation. The second step of capability maturity model is building technical infrastructure, which includes the systems, platforms and technology that support knowledge management, and then identify knowledge resources. That includes the structured and unstructured knowledge asset that drive decision making and innovation. The technical infrastructure includes basic IT system such as local file storage and individual knowledge repository. The accessed, acquired and synthesized or created knowledge then codify, access and transfer. The integration of taxonomy and metadata, clustering, linguistics analysis, data extraction, navigation, knowledge mapping and retrieval are also very important component of this stage. In the third level of capability maturity model, knowledge can be grouped based on its nature, structure and usage within an organization. Therefore, it can be group of individual knowledge or knowledge of project team and corporate knowledge as a whole. Individual knowledge is basically tacit knowledge that exists in individual's mind, not documented. The team or project knowledge is the knowledge gained from group of experts sharing domain specific knowledge. Now, the fourth stage, delivery of knowledge in the capability maturity model refers to how knowledge is distributed, accessed and utilized across different maturity level. Based on their expertise and knowledge need, knowledge must be categorized the users. Personalization ensures that the right knowledge reaches to the right person at the right time. To do that, custom dashboard for different users may be created. Seamless access ensures that users can retrieve knowledge quickly, securely and conveniently. For continuous improvement, the performance measurement of corporate and individual is essential. It involves the assessment and organization overall efficiency, effectiveness and knowledge utilization. Organization may be use key performance indicator such as revenue growth, customer satisfaction and knowledge retention. Simultaneously evaluate employees based on their contribution to knowledge management. Therefore, in the fifth level of capability maturity model, emphasis to the conduct regular performance review at both corporate and individual level. Now, let us discuss about knowledge spiral model or SECI model. Nonaka and Tekuchi SECI model, also known as knowledge spiral model, developed in 1995. It focuses on the interaction between tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge. The SECI process is actually using the four mode of knowledge conversion. First one is S, which means socialization. Therefore, knowledge is shared through direct experience, observation and informal interaction. Here, knowledge conversion is made from tacit to tacit. In SECI model, E stands for externalization, where tacit knowledge is articulated into documents, report or structured formats by writing manual, case studies, research paper, etc. So, tacit to explicit knowledge conversion is observed here. Here C indicates combination, that is explicit to explicit, where different pieces of explicit knowledge are combined to create new structured knowledge. Therefore, explicit to explicit knowledge conversion is observed here. Finally, I is used for internalization, where individual absorb explicit knowledge and apply it, making it a part of their expertise by learning from books, training, on the job experience, etc. Here, conversion of explicit to tacit is being performed. The Chu's sense making knowledge management model was developed by Chan Wai Chu in 1995. It describes how organizations use information and knowledge to make decision, innovation and achieve competitive advantages. This model follows three key processes. First, sense making. This is the first stage where organizations gather, interpret and understand information to make sense of their environment, which helps in reducing uncertainty and identifying opportunities. This is done through market research, survey, competitor analysis, etc. The second process belongs to knowledge creation, where both tacit and explicit knowledge are created and shared within the organization by innovation, problem solving, employee training, etc. Finally, the third process is decision making, where organizations apply knowledge based on analyzed data and collective expertise to make strategic and operational decisions. The curled-week knowledge management model focuses on how knowledge is built, organized, applied and transferred within an organization. This model works through three key pillars. First, knowledge building through learning, experience and innovation. For example, employees gaining expertise through training and project. Second one is knowledge organization and holding by developing database, document repository and taxonomy or even employees memory. And third is knowledge application through decision making and problem solving. Obviously, all knowledge should share across the organization to ensure continuity and growth. The Davenport and Prusik model was introduced by Thomas Davenport and Lawrence Prusik in their book, whose title is Working Knowledge: How Organizations Manage What They Know, which was published in 1998. Their model emphasizes the human and social aspect of knowledge rather than just technology. The key component of this model are knowledge creation. They said that knowledge is generated through experience, innovation, collaboration and learning. Then company must systematically collect and document that knowledge from various sources, that is from the employees, from the database, documents, which is known as knowledge capture. The third component is known as knowledge sharing, that encourages a culture of sharing through collaboration and social interaction. In application stage, knowledge must be used in decision making, problem solving and innovation to create values. Value of knowledge means the worth of knowledge, which determines by how effectively it is used to improve efficiency, competitiveness and innovation of a company. Now, knowledge management system. It is a technological and organizational framework used to facilitate the process of capturing, organizing, sharing, the applying knowledge within an organization, which may have four core functions. Number one, knowledge capture and storage. To do that, various data capturing, sensor camera, meeting, seminar, workshop, repository and knowledge portals may be used. Second is knowledge sharing and dissemination. To do this, we can use internet, wiki, collaboration platforms and forums, etc. Third function is knowledge retrieval and access. For this, we may use search engine, tagging system, metadata and finally, knowledge application and utilization. For that, we can use case studies, libraries and expert systems, etc. Now, knowledge management activities. Based on the framework and models given by several experts, 8 activities are highlighted which may play major role in the knowledge management of any organization. These are initiation, production, modeling, repository, distribution, technology, application and retrospect. Initiation. In this stage, knowledge management process requires a plan for change before launching a project or information system. This can be accomplished through research and survey or identifying the requirements and core competency. In production stage, knowledge can be produced by identifying what knowledge exists in the organization and who owns it. In the modeling state, acquired knowledge will be justified and structured into generated knowledge. For example, we can classify similar knowledge by index, then we can link, combine and integrate this knowledge. This index is called generated knowledge. In the generated knowledge is very precious to the organization. Therefore, it is important to have repository for maintaining and sharing all generated knowledge. The fifth stage is concerned with how to share that knowledge to the other people. Davenport and Prusik 1997 proposed push and pull strategy for distribution and sharing the acquired knowledge. The technical infrastructure within an organization determines how knowledge travels throughout the enterprise and how knowledge is accessed. The application stage is concerned with how to utilize knowledge in order to produce commercial value. And finally, the retrospect or learning stage, where after reviewing the process and performance of knowledge management, detect whether new knowledge has been created or not. Now, knowledge management and the role of librarian. Now, let's see how knowledge management works in libraries. Unlike those business organizations, most public and academic and research library have different orientation and values. Like all other business corporate sectors, library also follows knowledge management process within organization. Only there is a missing of competitiveness or business rivalry. Library are also involved in knowledge creation and acquisition. Library are capturing tacit knowledge from experienced librarians, from training and best practices. In the next level, they structure the knowledge by using metadata, indexing and classification and cataloging and various other methods. For knowledge sharing and dissemination, library provides online access to resources, database and research guide. They are conducting information literacy program for students, researchers and faculty regularly. They are facilitating collaboration among libraries, researchers and subject experts. By providing continuous reference and research support and personalized library services, libraries are following one important stage of knowledge management, which is known as knowledge utilization and applications. Finally, like all other knowledge management systems, libraries also follow knowledge preservation and innovation to create new knowledge and enhancing library services by collaborating with academic and research institutions for knowledge co-creation. Lee and Wei describes the scope of knowledge management in library in the areas of knowledge resource management. He stated that because of the exponential growth of human knowledge in a variety of formats, libraries need to develop their resource access and sharing strategies from printed to electronic and digital resources through cooperative acquisition. Both internal and external resources as well as printed and other formats of knowledge should be developed and maintained through an integrated online public access catalog. Always there should be review and updating process need to be performed. Most interestingly, libraries are doing all these things before knowledge management theory has developed. Even library developed various means to capture all the tacit knowledge that is important to their users of their organization. Since very beginning of the inception of internet, library designed the websites and serves as a portal for all sources of selective and relevant knowledge, whether explicit or tacit, whether on-site or remote, and in all formats. Library act as a knowledge reservoir. Now let us see how knowledge management strategies is taken by libraries nowadays. Libraries are nowadays taken lot of initiatives which is similar to knowledge management taken by or applied in various IT or tech companies. Library took these initiatives from long back. They have started digital libraries and repositories. Digital library serves as a means to store and manage large volume of knowledge in digital formats, making it easier to organize, share and preserve information for users. You know, the one of the basic component of any knowledge management system is knowledge acquisition and storage. Now, digital library are perform such component of basic knowledge management system. Repositories of academic, research and institutional knowledge are particularly important in academic libraries. Now, collaboration and networking. Libraries are also collaborated since the IT has been implemented in globally. They are created lot of networking like Calibnet, Malibnet, Delnet and now InfluNet. All are library networking for resource sharing. That is another very important component of knowledge organization or knowledge management for resource sharing. So, library encourages collaboration between users, students, faculty and researchers and staff by providing tools for communication. Not only they are sharing and collaborating among themselves or institutional users, but also they are share the information knowledges beyond their campuses. That means among different organizations, different libraries, not only nationally but also globally. For that case, they are using lot of communication tools, communication platforms and they are creating shared space for research and offering training or support in knowledge sharing. Library also engage with professional networks, academic group and other institutions to share best practices and innovation in knowledge management. Cataloging and metadata management also is a part of library core function and also it is similar to knowledge management system also. The cataloging system is crucial for organizing explicit knowledge in libraries. Advanced metadata management and classification system like MARC, Dublin Core or other taxonomies allows library to categorize and tag knowledge to to make it easy discoverable by the users. As you know that knowledge sharing among the organization is very important part of knowledge management system. So, it is very important component in library also, and they are doing all these things by using cataloging and metadatas. Library management system or LMS, many library or almost all the libraries nowadays are using library management system to manage their collection, track user interaction and optimize the use of resources. These systems can also assist in sharing knowledge by linking related materials or integrating with other digital tools that support knowledge discovery. Staff training and development. Libraries invest the continuous professional development for their staff to ensure that they stay current with new trend in knowledge management practice, emerging technology and information management. This also actually tried to capture the tacit knowledge of the library staff. So, this is also a kind of tacit knowledge management or is a basic components of knowledge management system. This allows staff to better serve to patron and to help them navigate and utilize the knowledge resources available in the organization or library. User-centered knowledge management. Library are focusing on creating more personalized experience for users by analyzing user behavior and need. Libraries can tailor their services, resources and knowledge sharing effort to better support to the community they serve. One of the basic objectives of knowledge management also highlight this area to support the users or better understanding of the users. Now, in conclusion, with all this, I can conclude that this lecture have started with recap of earlier lectures about basic approach of knowledge management. That is, it refers to the process of capturing how to capture, distribute and effectively use of knowledge within an organization. It is a strategic approach to managing both tacit, that means personal or context specific knowledge, and explicit, that is coded or documented knowledge. Information aiming to improve efficiency, innovation and decision making. It deals with two types of knowledge, that is tacit knowledge, which is known as the people's carry in their mind, which is often difficult to formalize or codify. It includes skill, experience and insight gained over time, and also it handles the explicit knowledge. This is the knowledge that is easily documented and shared, such as manual, documents, report and databases. And in knowledge management, both has been handled very carefully and with very sensitively to develop further. And obviously, all time any organization always think about if some experienced person retire from the library or retire from the organization, how that knowledge or that expertise will be retained or will be stored or captured or hold within the organization. That is the basic objectives of knowledge management. And in this lecture, I have emphasized on various perspectives of knowledge management and the detailed description on the knowledge management process, framework and various models. I have also discussed about knowledge management activities and systems, and very precisely I have mentioned here there are 8 very specific activities have been included for whole knowledge management process. And in few minutes I also spent on discussion about knowledge management in libraries. We have discussed few popular knowledge management tools and softwares. Finally, we have seen that knowledge management initiatives in popular Indian IT companies. Knowledge management has several benefits, like it improves the efficiency, reduces redundancy and minimizes the time spent searching for information. Better decision making, like easier access to right information leads to more informed and timely decision. It also helps for innovation. By leveraging collective knowledge, organization can foster creativity and innovation and competitive advantage. Organizations with effective knowledge management can be more agile and responsive to market change. However, it also faces lot of challenges too, like cultural barrier. employees may be reluctant to share knowledge due to competitive behavior. Lack of trust or concern about the job security is the one of the fundamental problem of applying knowledge management in any organization. Technology limitations. Managing large volume of knowledge requires appropriate tools and technologies that can handle it efficiently. And maintaining knowledge quality, which ensures that the knowledge captured is relevant, up to date and accurate by challenging. So, with all this, I thank you all for listening these lectures, and I will request you to go through the reference given in the last slide for further encouragement or further study for this topic. Thank you.